Good morning and welcome to Essential Ingredients. I'm your host, Justine Reichman. This morning, I'm so excited to welcome from Portugal, Joaquim, the Executive Director of Smart Rule, HIESE. So welcome, Joaquim. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Justine. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I feel both honored and also excited to talk about this passion of mine, which is food. So I think it's going to be a very nice conversation.
Well, I am both honored and excited to have you here and learn more about what you're doing.
So, and by the way, if I start speaking too fast and you can't understand my English, let me know and I will slow down, okay?
Of course, we definitely will. So Joaquim, for our viewers, I would just love for you to share with us a little bit about HIESE and tell them a little bit about what your incubator does and who it's for.
Yes, so we are a rural-based incubator. We are based in central Portugal in a rural area outside of Coimbra. It's a very small village with around 6,000 people, so it's a very small village. And we try to help innovators and entrepreneurs that want to do a difference in all industries that are related with the rural areas. And of course, the agri-food or the food industry is one of our strategic industries. We have what we call a smart specialization on these subjects. All over the world, I imagine that smart city as a concept is very well known, and we are trying to bring also to the table the concept about smart rural. So because yes, it's a fact that a lot of people live now in cities, but the rural areas are also, or may become, very important hubs for innovation and for bringing good things to people and to attracting entrepreneurs and people that want to live a different life.
Wow, well, thank you for sharing that. So I'd love to learn just a little bit more. What inspired you to get into this? So you started Smart Rule, you're the executive director. Did you found this incubator?
No, I didn't have the pleasure of founding it, but I was in the first, when it just began, I was, after 3 or 4 months, I joined the project. So I in my early career, I started as a research scientist. When I was young, I wanted to become a wildlife biologist. I watched all those interesting TV shows about wildlife in the rainforest and in Africa, and I wanted to become a wildlife biologist. But when I was studying in my bachelor, I met a lot of people that bring me the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, and I tried really hard to become an entrepreneur related to wildlife, but it was impossible. But another passion of mine was also food. And you know, in Portugal, we eat a lot of fish. We are in running average, the second world consumer of fish per person. The first is Iceland, and then comes Portugal. And it really made me thinking about quitting the life of a researcher and becoming a full-time entrepreneur, because I do believe that research and science is very important to society, but I tend to believe now that entrepreneurs can make a more short-time impact. So I wanted to have that impact on the life of people, and then it was like a very I would say a very easy way to put things in my life. Okay, I will become an entrepreneur, and I think that fish is a good way to start. And I tried several times, in fact, to be an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur. I was not very successful as a player in the game, and I got injured because I failed. I got injured, and then I became a coach. Instead of becoming a football player, I had to change to a coach to heal my injury And in 2017, I was invited by one of the foremost business incubators in Portugal, which is IPN, Instituto Pedro Nunes, based in Coimbra, to run this new venture of them, which is kind of a spin-off of IPN. It's a rural IPN and a joint venture with the municipality of Penela. And that's when I became this executive director of HIESE, and it's a lot of fun to work with entrepreneurs, and I really feel alive, and it's very inspiring because they are always very positive, and they fail as I did, but they face life in a different way.
What do you like most about working with entrepreneurs?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
What do you like most working about? What do you like most?
Yeah, I would say that it's the way they face challenges, and they are always positive, and they fall, but they get back again and start, because being an entrepreneur is a different way to see the success in business.
I would agree.
You are still wanna be a businessman, so you are first an entrepreneur, and while you are an entrepreneur, you tend to take chances, to face risk, and to do smart choices, of course, because in my incubator we are working with tech-based companies, startups, and research scientists that became entrepreneurs or engineers. So it's very thrilling and fun to work with these people.
Yeah, I think entrepreneurs have a kind of their own DNA in some way. I know for myself and many of the entrepreneurs that I work with, they're wired in a way that's different. They're not just, they want to build something, they want to fix something. And they will, no job is too small, no job is too big. We may not know how to do everything, but we'll figure it out. And we tap into resources when we don't know how to do it ourselves. We know how to find and surround ourselves with the people that know how to do things that we don't know how to do, so we can get it all done. So it's a unique skill, and there's a certain DNA, I like to call it, of being an entrepreneur. So.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, definitely, I agree. That's something to do with DNA, but sometimes entrepreneurs are born during the process, because, and I saw that happen already. Some people didn't have that DNA yet. It's what you may call epigenetics, and they became during their life because they got tired of working with companies that they don't share their vision, or in some cases they lost their jobs and say, okay, perhaps I should try starting my own job and my own company. So it may also happen, but in most of the cases, it's something that is in their own DNA.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, I've seen many people get frustrated with process and getting stuck in the process, or, wanting to solve a problem, right? Creating something from passion or a need, or their own, their own desire for a void, or seen through a void that they've experienced. So being that it may, I'd love to hear about some of the founders and startups that come through your company. And maybe if you could share some of the stories, or, about the founders that you have and what you're learning from them, maybe some of the innovative ideas that you're seeing, how they're changing the future of food.
Yes, and the food industry as a whole, okay? Because
yeah, of course.
At all the value chain. For instance, we have a very interesting company which is called Eco Experience, and the founders used to be research scientists, as I am, or as I used to be, in the field of chemistry, and they got up with a technology that helps to transform oils from the food industry into soap. And that's something that has been around for a long time. I can't remember the name of the process, the chemical process in English. I would believe that's something like saponification or something like that. But they figured out that it was possible to do this process in a very easy way using an enzyme from human's liver. Okay, so because we had that enzyme to turn the fat to decompose the fats. So they are using it into turning these oils that are used in the kitchen to make soaps. And their first product was a kit for children, because they wanted to start by educating people on these circular economy principles, which is, okay, so you have something that used to be a waste, and now we can turn these wastes into new products that you use in your daily life. Right. Soaps that you can use to wash your hands or to wash the dishes. And with these kits to children, they were very clever because they figured out that the best way to educate grown-ups is starting by their children. Because at some point children would see their parents put the oil in the tub, and they say, don't do that. We can use the oils. It's bad for the environment, so we can use this grass, these fats, to make our own soaps. And I think it's very, very clever. It's a patent that they have now for the process. They filed the patent, and they are quite unique. And now they have been invested by a huge detergent company from Portugal, and they are moving very quickly as a startup. And it's been very inspiring to see where they are going to. And I remember that's what really drew my attention about the person, which is the entrepreneur of the company, Cesar. At some point, he needed to find some investors, and he had all sorts of capital, venture, angels, and he chose an investor that already had a factory that would allow them to speed the process. And I asked him, Cesar, don't you prefer to start your own factory? And he said, yes, perhaps in the future, but now I must focus on marketing and selling my products. And if I set up now the factory, I will not have the energy or the time to do that, which is what entrepreneurs must do. Sell.
Wow.
Essential Ingredients is powered by NextGen Chef. NextGen Chef is a movement that supports food and beverage entrepreneurs around the world by fostering a sense of community and providing its members access to mentors and a wealth of resources and guidance. NextGen Chef feeds members with the knowledge they need to build better for you food and beverage businesses so the world can have greater access to healthier food, comprehensive food education, and increased affordability. If you like what you hear on this podcast, continue the conversation or ask new questions on the NextGen Chef app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play. Follow NextGen Chef on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook at NextGen Chef. Join NextGen Chef and let's change the future of the food industry together.
Very innovative, very, very innovative. Yeah, well, I mean, it's what we love to do here is use this as a platform to share the innovations that people are creating. It's inspiring for the other founders listening as well. So I appreciate you sharing that. I don't know if you have any other stories that you want to share that are coming through the accelerator at this time, because we'd love to be able to share them for inspiration.
Yeah, so I can share.
Maybe one more?
Yes, okay. And this one is related to the US.
Okay.
So, you know the Louisiana crawfish?
Yeah.
And it's a native species in the US, but not in Europe. Mm-hmm. And it was introduced in the European rivers in the 80s, mm-hmm. and now became alien species that is now invading all our ecosystem because it fitted very well to our environment. So now this is a problem because they are destroying the rice fields, the rice for producing rice, where they are burrowing for making their nests, or they are destroying or eating fishes or amphibians that live in our river ecosystems. And these people came up with a very simple idea, which is, okay, we should fish the crawfish in order to prevent them to destroy our ecosystems. So this is one part of their business idea. But in order to make it available to the market, to the customers, they have to clean the guts first. So they have to put it in ponds so that the water will help them clean their guts. And this will make an effluent very enriched in nitrogen and organic matter. And what they came up with to deal with this is, okay, so we'll now grow microalgae that will be fed by this enriched water from cleaning the guts of the crawfish, and we will have a circular system where we clean crawfish that we'll sell afterwards, but also we'll be producing microalgae, namely spirulina, which is a very protein basis, what we call a NASA product, because what astronauts should eat in the space. And they are also trying to bring this circle in order to have both products. So it's very interesting also how you could turn a problem into an opportunity, and from this opportunity to match it with other products.
Wow, super interesting.
Yeah.
I love hearing all these different things that people are doing. It's one of the ways that I think people create their own ideas is by hearing all these different stories about what other people are doing. It's how I worked on my startup, right? It's how we all create new ideas. It's by collaborating and listening and hearing what's going on and cross-pollinating and hearing what's going on the other side of the world. So I so appreciate you sharing some of these stories because it's really exciting. It must be exciting for you to be part of all this and watching all these founders and startups develop and see how their ideas are evolving.
Yes, definitely. As a coach, I don't get the opportunity to score, but it's very interesting, very fun. It really gets me excited to go to work every day, to be with these people. And this probably will bring me to another thing that I would like to share with you, which is the importance of these people to be in an ecosystem. And a business incubator is the right place to be if you don't want to be alone. Okay.
So talk to me about the incubator that you guys have, because I think, and let's talk about, before we even go into the actual incubator, we know what an incubator is, but I do know that sometimes we have listeners that may not know what an incubator is, or they may get, or some people may hear incubator and they hear accelerator and they don't necessarily know what the difference is. So I'd love to just take a minute to ask you to explain what incubator means to you and what your incubator provides as both a service and a community.
So an incubator in our case, it's both a facility and also a set of services that we render to our customers, which are startups. So they can be based in our incubator, are their offices there. Of course, in some of the cases, such as the one from these people that are growing algae and cleaning crawfish, they have only their office there, but they are producing outside, not very far from our incubator. So it's a facility, which is what we can call a level 1 incubator or a first stage incubator, and that's actually what most of the incubators do. But then, how we really add value is in helping entrepreneurs that have great ideas, turning these innovative ideas into successful businesses.
Joaquim, can you talk to us about that? Can you share with us that process?
Yes.
How do you do that? Walk us through it.
We have a pipeline, and if you are an entrepreneur and you have an idea, still an idea, not a business, you go to our website and you register your idea and you apply to our incubator. And in most of the cases, they haven't incorporated, they haven't started their company yet. So, and we say, great, don't do that yet. Before you incorporate, before you launch your company, let's do a business plan. Let's do a proper evaluation of how you can turn your idea into a company, okay? So in average, we give them 3 months to work with us in business modeling, with a business model canvas, and try to get some insights from the market, the customer discovery journey, and to write down a proper business plan, okay? So we are in Portugal, we don't have a lot of money, and failing is very expensive for us. So that's why we want a proper business plan.
Joaquim, before you go on, can you just talk to, and just when people apply, how many applications are you getting? How many people are you accepting out of the applications you get?
So in average, we get 10 to 20 applications per year, which is a lot in such a small place like ours. And I would say that 75% move into this incubation phase where we run the business plan, okay, with them.
And how do you choose of those 20 people who's going to be accepted?
So we run an evaluation because in their application they should give us an idea about about what would be their business proposition. It's still a very rough idea, how they fit our strategic areas of smart rural, and their background. Okay. So it's a very easy process, and so that's why in most of the cases we have a go. Okay, and they start incubating, what we call a start incubating process.
Now, is this and then what is the cost of this program?
Oh, it's very cheap. They are paying 25 euros per month.
Oh, it's very affordable. And is this and it's only for people that can physically be there, so it's just for people that are in your area?
We also accept people for at this point. We have entrepreneurs that are based in Madrid and they want to move to Portugal, but before they move and they launch their company, it's going to be a tahini sauce company. Okay,
What company?
Tahini, from sesame sauce.
Tahini.
Yes.
Okay.
Tahini, yes. They are from Syria and Lebanon.
Okay.
They've been in Europe for the last 5 years, I believe, and they want to set up a factory in Portugal. So they are still based in Madrid. We are running virtually this incubation with them. We are doing the business plan. Well, they are doing the business plan. We are helping them. Right. Because most of the entrepreneurs don't have the skills in management.
Right.
They don't know what a balance sheet is, or to run the proper financial analysis and the business indicators. So we help them with all of that. Also with our network, which is very important. We are not only a facility, we have a very strong network in Portugal and in the world through IPN and through a smart rule.
So theoretically, could you have other people that would take advantage or have an impact of participating in this incubator remotely?
Yeah, I imagine that would be have to be assessed case by case, but it really depends on what's their vision, because if they want to have impact in our territory, okay?
Right.
Because we want to attract people to the rural areas. That's
right, to the rural areas of Portugal specifically.
Yeah.
Specifically. Okay, that makes sense.
So, and that's once they have everything ready, and that in average to take them 3 months, then we assess the business plan, and it may happen 3 things. That's why not all of them move forward, because they are very eager in starting, but then they lose their stamina at the same point that, okay, I don't want to become an entrepreneur. I thought I wanted, but it takes a lot of effort, and I'm not very familiar and comfortable in working with numbers, or doing businesses. So, and in other cases, it's a lot of fun because it's like, it's like a marriage. People have to know beforehand. And some of the cases we have, they want to become partners, but they don't know each other.
Right.
So what happens when they start doing their business plan and sharing their visions and their expectations, at some point, some of them split and they say, okay, we are good friends, or at some point we quit being friends, but we should not become partners.
Right.
Okay. And the other cases, everything goes according to the plan, but okay, the market doesn't seem very interested in your product or in your price, and you have to pivot, and then you move forward, and eventually you become one of these success stories that I share with you.
So it's a great place to connect and collaborate and really utilize the resources you have and build up the rural community in Portugal.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
And
Joaquim, that sounds like a great community, and I'm so glad that you've been able to share some of the resources that you have. And I think that it's such an amazing way for these people to be able to build up the community and access resources in a time when it's really hard to access those resources. And many times people and founders get stopped in their tracks when they're not able or feel like they don't have the tools or the skill set to move forward. And this is such a great resource. So it's inspiring to see this, especially in a community that really needs that those tools and the products that they're bringing to that community and the businesses. So however we can support you, please let us know. So thank you for sharing this. So overall, you have a lot of businesses that are coming through. You're supporting a lot of founders, and you're in the food space, and I know that you're passionate about it. I'd love to just hear, in particular, is there one thing that you're specifically passionate about changing with regards to changing the future of food?
Yes, I would say that's you have to see if all the supply chain of food, but specifically if you look at the businesses that are more close to the end customers, I would say that you should really try to evolve into really innovative ideas. Mm-hmm. Most of the people that are now in the food industry are still farmers or chefs, mm-hmm. or technicians, and you should turn them into successful entrepreneurs. And that's what I think that I will really believe that will make a change, because at least here in our country, in Portugal, farmers are very important, of course, but you should try to turn their mindsets into business people. And that means what Joseph Schumpeter said, try to have people that have the will and the skill to turn innovation into successful business. That's what entrepreneurs are.
Right.
And I would say that that's definitely what will change the landscape of the food industry, will bring it more into innovation and more sustainable, which is also very, very, very important.
Yeah, I think we want to make it, we want to change the landscape of it. We want to make it more sustainable, more regenerative, and just change it in general, and make it more accessible and to all.
Yes.
Through education, through collaboration, and just make it a better food system. So Joaquim, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so pleased to be able to have this conversation with you and be able to share this information with the community.
Justine, it's been my pleasure and my honor. And well, I hope to see you soon, perhaps even in Portugal.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. And I'd like, I hope you'll keep me up to date on what's going on in your community and continue to share these stories with us so that we can share them with our community, and share resources, because we've got a ton as well. And if our resources, the Next Gen Chef resources, can support your community, we'd love to be able to cross-pollinate and share them with HIESE. And yes. Did I say it properly?
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. So thanks again for joining me. And I want to thank our listeners and viewers for tuning in today. We're here every Tuesday. So I hope you'll join us again next week, and we will talk to you again soon. To find out more about this episode of Essential Ingredients and access show notes, check out Next Gen Chef and choose podcast in the menu bar. If you like this episode, head to iTunes or Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel to subscribe. Learn more about Next Gen Chef, the platform that powers this podcast, by checking out our website, or visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Next Gen Chef. You can also check out my Instagram at Justine_Reichman. If you have thoughts about this episode or future episode ideas, leave us a comment at Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel or drop an email at team@nextgenchef.com. Thanks for joining us.